solution to mental wellness in the workplace. As Garth mentioned, my name is Sarah Hilton, CEO and founder of the SOS program. I was recently in a presentation of company leaders where I asked the question to the audience. Raise your hand if you and your staff have had WMIS training. Now raise your hand if you and your staff have had first aid training. Excellent. Now, as you can imagine, all but a couple raised their hands. And then I went on. And finally, raise your hand if you and your staff have had mental health training. Now, as you can probably imagine, all the hands went down very quickly. Interesting, isn't it, that almost every employee in a company has training in which the preventative measure is unlikely to happen. Think of the last time you had a chemical spill or hazard emergency. Or think of the last time you had an incident where an ambulance was needed to be called. Now, think of the last time you dealt with conflict, depression, anxiety, fear, absenteeism, presenteeism, or lack of productivity or motivation in the workplace. Of course, every day. And yet no training, because as you will see today, these types of challenges in the workplace are all related to mental health and mental illness, and every place on the continuum between the two, and yet there is still silence and stigma. In the next 30 minutes, you will hear why mental health in the workplace is a need, not a want. You will see how mental health in the workplace training, consulting, and programming can make a difference, a significant difference. And you will pick up a couple of tools developed and delivered by SOS so that you can see the fit between your company and stressed out solutions. Yes, mental health affects everyone. So you might ask, well, I'm okay. I don't need training. Well, let's look at that. Sometimes it is not you. It could be your coworker, your friend, a family member, or your management team. And when one person is dealing directly with mental health challenges, it is almost a given that the team, the family, and the community are affected. Think of it this way. If your child is anxious about school, but as a parent, you understand the importance of school and you give your child a hug and send them on their way. Now, what about you? Do you not feel anxious? And as you work the day away, do you regularly check your phone? Check in with your partner? Worry that you might get that call from the school? This is how mental health is affecting you. The same can be said about the support you provide an aging parent, or just the stressors you feel every day. Mental health affects everyone, directly and indirectly. And one feels the pain of the individuals around the person feel also the pain. We are all affected one way or another. Mental health affects 1 in 5 individuals in Canada. So think of your particular workplace. How many staff do you have? Even the smallest company have individuals directly affected by mental health. And those are the ones we know about. What about the ones that are silent? Think of your company as you sit at your desk today, and how many of your coworkers, your leaders, are affected by mental health. Mental health is not going away, and illnesses are actually on the increase. Why? Well, it's because of stress, demands, deadlines, competition, politics, financial, work culture, realities, and family. There is an endless number of areas of life that lead to a stress, which leads to sickness, which leads to sadness and suffering. This cannot be ignored. And really, can businesses not afford not to pay attention? So you may be thinking, so everyone has stress. It's just that. It's called stress. Well, the reality of stress in the workplace is that the symptoms that are related to stress, and you can probably relate to some of these, symptoms like not sleeping, not eating, sleeping too much, eating too much, argumentative, unmotivated, and just unhappy. These same symptoms are then showing up at work, like some of these examples. And with this, business is not happening. and errors are being made, and the drive that a staff brought on the first day of working at your company has gone, vanished. And once it's gone, without proper training and support, it is very difficult to get back. Why don't companies look at promoting mental health, preventing mental illness, and caring enough to provide the accommodation and support one needs to recover? Actually, I'm going to come back to that question. First, let's look at the opportunities, the program, the success to building a customized SOS program right on site with your staff, your leadership, and customers. SOS programming starts with you. SOS is customized. So within the year-long program, we will facilitate the first component, which you can see there is the needs assessment. This is crucial in assuring that SOS covers the needs of your particular company or organization. There is no point in providing services and training you have already had. There is no point in servicing a program that is not tailored to your industry and to your people. Hence, the needs assessment. Within this year-long program, you will then receive a series of leadership trainings, followed by an employee training. And also included in this year will be a number of consulting hours, one-to-one, depending on the number of employees in your company. This is the SOS year-long model, which we have witnessed as a successful and sustainable way to introduce mental health, support mental health, and create a vibe of interest and motivation in order to build stronger and healthier teams. You might be the company that sees the benefits of some of the option items below, such as SOS chat or the on-site visual presence, the need for a mental health committee, and for some companies, a team coaching program. These items are available and have been proven to add to success and sustainability of a company that wants to add growth for the future of workplace mental health. Some companies may choose to start with the year-long program, add to the program in the years following. Other companies have requested the entire program with options spread over a course of 3 years. And then other companies will choose one option to include in the first year programming, which specifically addresses their present needs. So what are the specifics of the SOS program? Within the needs assessment, SOS will work directly and closely with the HR and executive team. One of the key elements within this assessment is to bring everyone onto the same page and understanding. One of the key learnings we have had from staff and companies is that they want the support and buy-in from all levels of the company, and this starts with the top. This assessment gives them an opportunity for the leaders to buy in and embrace the SOS program and the benefits of workplace mental health. After a complete checklist and customized assessment, your company will receive a completed strategic plan, a written review and report indicating recommendations for a sustainable, successful mental health presence. You will show that you are a company that cares. There is no 1 hour fix for mental health in the workplace. Leadership training is essential. It's a must for all organizations. It is always fascinating to me that we easily bring in leadership training regarding sales, team building, and customer service. You might be shaking your head saying, yes, we've done that. Even a leader I've always read about and respected was Dale Carnegie's program. And one of his first pages of content focuses on topics such as connecting with business strategy, initiatives, and goals of their business or organization. It goes on to say, having a clear plan to lead and manage around what is required in their role to advance the business. Another example, acquiring a taste for reality. Leaders see what's actually going on and confront and coach from reality. Now, I know incredible leadership resources are key and vital to the running of a business. But let's take a step back. Without leaders and staff that are resilient, able to express appropriate emotion, have moments of happiness, true happiness, and accepting who they are and what they bring to the table, and finally living a balanced life, a life without understanding the world of depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, OCD, addictions, just to name the few, how will any leader lead or support their staff dealing with these challenges every day? I often say, when we look at a WSIB claim, it is so easy to put all the safety processes into place. But without addressing what's on the mind of that individual, all the safety processes in place will be a waste of time. If a newly married young employee who does roofing has a fight with his wife the night before, he doesn't speak to her in the morning. If he shows up to work, is it really the slip of the foot that is the issue? Not usually. It's actually what's on the mind of the individual at the time of the slip. We have to go back to the foundation, which is what's on the mind of the person. So let's get to the root of mental health by educating leaders on CARE, C-A-R-E. The C, it stands for communicate. How do you communicate about mental health? What questions do leaders need to ask? How do they ask? When should they ask? How do they protect confidentiality of the individual? The A is for accommodation. How do you accommodate individuals that are having a difficult time? Sometimes we can prevent stress leave or medical leave by being proactive and preventative. The R is for recognizing. How do you know when someone is having a difficult time when you do not recognize mental health? So often we hear, oh, he's just lazy, or she's always crying. The E is for education. How to educate the company and the team that you do care, that you are learning, and that you as a leader are no different than anyone else. How do you lead by example and come from a place of support, striving to recognize the best in others and in yourself? The results to this are strengthened relationships and people purpose leadership. This is not the time for PowerPoint. This is time for conversations, even when difficult. Speaking out, sharing, and supporting are the key in the mission to SOS. One leader once shared, I thought I was coming here to learn about my staff, when really you were speaking to me. Now I understand why I feel irritated, and sometimes I find any excuse not to come to work. I can use the tools to feel better and be a better leader. This particular leader, he came to the employee training to hear the message for a second time. This leader reports feeling better and enjoying the role of leadership he is now in because it is based on the relationships he has with his team. Employee training. Well, it has three components. One is dispelling the myths in order to stop silent stigma and sometimes even suicide. The second component is taking care of self. And the third is taking care of others. This training is engaging and interactive in order to support a trusting opportunity to share, learn, and grow as individuals and part of the team. Yes, if staff take care of themselves, they are more likely to stay at work, work to their potential, and strive to better themselves and their workplace. Consulting is just that, an opportunity to pick up tools, processes, and systems to help particular teams. The most sought-out piece of consulting is around building resources and solutions to particular challenges. Resources is always a key component of why people bring SOS on. And what I'd like to encourage people to think about is it really the resources, or is it knowing what resources are best fit for an individual? Consulting is provided by the mental health specialist that you will get to know as they train and support the mental health initiative in your company. What are your options for valued added service for your staff and customers? As a facilitator, a role that we provide, to your mental health committee, you may see the benefits of building a team of champions in your company that will help build and create ways for mental health to remain a key component of the wellness and health of your business. An SOS option is great for information, resources, guidance, and support. This is not a counseling or crisis number. This is an information resource for your staff to access through your internal website or on the SOS website for added value and support to your staff. the poster and on-site visual campaign. I spoke to a company last year, to their women's network. On the door was a sign that read, "Mental health training in progress." After the training and after I left, a male staff new to the company approached one of the women and asked, "Did you attend the training today?" She replied, "Yes, I learned quite a bit." He went on to ask, "Did you learn about suicide?" She mentioned that a couple of points she had picked up. It turned out that that individual was concerned about his girlfriend who had not gotten out of bed for the past few days, and he was concerned because she was so depressed. Help was on its way, and this young family was supported. All it took was a sign on a door. Visual awareness is the key part of conversation in taking action on workplace mental health. And finally, one of the options is called team coaching. Sometimes the teams may have unique circumstances, like how do you check in with a coworker who's on the road all the time? How do you take care of yourself when you're on the phones for a designated time frame? How do you breathe when customers continue to fill the lineups in my store? In some situations, SOS is called on to provide team coaching to assist the team moving forward on mental health programming. The options are endless. Your SOS specialist will help you determine the best fit for your company. So why don't some companies understand the importance of this? Well, I hear it. Every excuse in the book as to why you wouldn't bring a mental health program to your company. Let's put the elephant on the table for just a minute. Let's bring the challenges to the forefront. I hear we already have an EAP program, an employee assistance program. That's great. And SOS supports and encourages their audience to access and use that EAP counseling service. But the fact remains that it is often underutilized because people do not know they are moving on to a treadmill and eventually will fall off. A set training with little customization is not always the answer to open conversation. And with SOS, you will know and build a relationship with your mental health specialist, your trainer, and consultant so that it is always customized. I hear we have had training in the past. Incredible. SOS is not there to duplicate. But as you know, there are many different types of learners and different ways of training which will offer repeatable, memorable messages in an action and result-driven way. How did the training meet your needs? Where are the gaps remaining? Or is it another book on the shelf? I hear we can't afford it. Can you afford not to talk mental health? What does it cost to have one more employee go on stress leave or short-term disability? I hear we are not ready. Our staff is not ready. Our leadership is not ready. When will they be? Mental health is not new. It's not going anywhere, and the longer companies wait, the more desperate and depressed people are getting. Stop the silence and be a company that cares. I hear it does not affect us. Remember back, mental health affects everyone. And I hear the timing is not right. In the past few years, I have heard we are downsizing, the time is not right. We are going through so many changes. The time is not right. We have had a serious situation. We are overwhelmed. We are building. We are overworked. Well, folks, the time is now. This is the exact time for mental health. So what's in it for you, for your company? Well, imagine saving time, energy, and money because mental health takes up a lot of time, energy, and money. With SOS programming, you will walk away with a reduced absenteeism, lower mental health-related drug costs, significant productivity boosts, a stronger, more driven workforce, and individuals that are there to build, create, and innovate for your company. As you see, others do say training makes a difference. With the 20-plus years I have worked in mental health, with the thousands of individuals I have connected with, this story is similar. I had hopes and dreams. I had a job. I went to school. I loved my family. Things were good. I was okay, and I saw an incredible future. And the story is often the same. Now look at me. I am homeless, addicted to prescription medication, jobless. I have lost me in this stress, this depression and anxiety. If only someone spoke out, shared, or cared. If only I knew it was okay to speak out, share my challenges, and know that I was not alone. Stop the silence, speak out, and strengthen your people with understanding, knowledge, and support. So what can you do to make a difference? Ask questions. Get the conversation started within your organization. If you get it, then let SOS help you share and help others get it. Step 1 may be to email SOS at info@stressedoutsolutions.com. Step 2, go to stressedoutsolutions.com and sign up for a newsletter and more information. And step 3, share this webinar. We have another one coming up on October 7th with your friends, families, co-workers, fellow leaders, because together we can stop silence, stigma, and sometimes even suicide. Thank you for joining us. I know Garth is going to come on the line for questions. That is just a quick overview of the difference you can make within your business or organization. And with that, I'll pass that back to Garth.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Sorry, I had to find the mute button on mine. I was a little bit enthralled in what you were saying. Are there any questions out there that you may have for Sarah right now? Again, we have found in past webinars around mental health, the silence that Sarah was just talking about, that a lot of the questions you have, we get more after the fact than we do during. So that is also fine. Please do take down the information on this screen here if there is any. Sarah, I guess just one of the questions that I had come through there is about the different types of industries and or size of companies. Is mental health training more effective in one or another?
So mental health training is, because it's customized with SOS, the one important thing that we know is we'll take that company, look at the portfolio of what that company or industry is, and base our training around that. So say there's a company of 300 and their departments are varied. So you've got construction workers, you've got inside office staff, you have IT staff. Their needs are going to be very different. So even though the information, the content may look very similar, the way we deliver the message is going to be very different for all the different departments in a company such as that one. Obviously, we can do large keynotes for companies that are saying, hey, I'm interested in this, but I'm not sure how far it can go. We need to bring it to our bigger team. And then there's definitely some companies that are smaller that look at the team coaching piece of the mental health training.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Hello, Sarah. The other question I have here is your training normally mandatory for all staff? How do reach those in need? Okay, and then how do you, within the trainings, how do you reach those that are most in need of the message you're wanting to relay?
So I've had different scenarios. So some will say we start with the people that already believe and are engaged in this topic, and then we roll it out to the rest of the teams and the staff. I firmly believe that sometimes the most silent and the most resistant person to coming to training will sit there and pick up something. And I'll give you a quick example of that. We had a particular training where there was a variety of different people. It was a big company, and one person at that training felt another person was being disrespectful in the training. And that one person said, you know what, spoke out and said, you know what, I have depression. And the way that you're acting through this training is not acceptable. You're affecting your coworkers and your teams. Interestingly enough, that other person then spoke out and said, you know what, I know a lot about mental health. And my mother had mental health, and it sucked. And we started having this discussion, and the one thing I asked was, would you have liked your mother's situation to go a little bit differently so she didn't have to lose her job, so that her life could have looked a little differently? And he said yes. And to me, that is the power of empowering people to speak out, even if it is a difficult conversation. Change happened that day, and the company continues to bring me back. So I think the purpose is it's going to be difficult for some people at the beginning. So two ways to look at it is, one, start with the people that already are engaged and excited about the topic, moving and spreading, because it's contagious, that energy, or recognizing it's going to be difficult and let SOS lead and present and deliver that message in safe and trusting ways.
Okay, good. Yeah, I completely agree. The second part of that, as well as, do companies make this mandatory for their staff?
So yes, some companies do. It's as important as WMIS and first aid training.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that is all the questions that I had come up today. They're great questions. It shows a lot of thought going on out there. Us at Employee Wellness Solutions Network are just super excited and proud to have this relationship with Stressed Out Solutions. So I want to thank Sarah for the information that she shared today. We do have some clients on the line. We have some what I call prospects on the line. We have some great referral sources on the line, and like
I think we love
benefit and consultants and such out in the field. So I am going to end the webinar now. If you do have anyone else that may be interested in hearing the same information, we are recording the webinar.